Former U.S. President Donald Trump has thrust himself back into the spotlight of international affairs with a bold proposition: a ceasefire in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Trump, known for his unconventional approach to diplomacy, has suggested that a negotiated settlement may require Ukraine to make some concessions, particularly regarding territorial claims. This proposal, while potentially offering a respite from the bloodshed, has been met with a mixture of cautious optimism and deep skepticism, particularly among Ukrainians who have endured the brunt of Russia's aggression. Trump's comments, stemming from a recent phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, have sent ripples of anxiety through Ukraine. The suggestion that Ukraine might have to relinquish control over parts of its territory in exchange for peace has ignited fears of a deal struck at the expense of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. This is not the first time that the prospect of a negotiated settlement has been floated. However, Trump's direct involvement and his public pronouncements have injected a new sense of urgency and uncertainty into the equation. The international community is now watching closely, grappling with the implications of Trump's proposal, and the potential consequences should it gain traction. The notion of territorial concessions cuts deep into the heart of Ukrainian identity and sovereignty. Ukrainians, having already endured the annexation of Crimea in 2014, and the ongoing conflict in the eastern Donbas region, view any suggestion of ceding territory as a betrayal of their sacrifices and a dangerous validation of Russia's aggression. Fueling these concerns is the long and troubled history between Ukraine and Russia, replete with broken promises and unfulfilled agreements. Ukrainians vividly recall the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, in which Russia, along with the United States and the United Kingdom, pledged to respect Ukraine's territorial integrity in exchange for Ukraine relinquishing its nuclear arsenal. This agreement, once seen as a cornerstone of regional security, was shattered by Russia's annexation of Crimea. The 2015 Minsk agreements, aimed at ending the conflict in eastern Ukraine, have also failed to deliver on their promise of peace. Russia's continued support for separatist forces and its refusal to implement key provisions of the agreements have led many Ukrainians to conclude that Russia cannot be trusted to negotiate in good faith. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a wartime leader who has earned international admiration for his steadfastness in the face of Russian aggression, has made it unequivocally clear that Ukraine will not be bullied into accepting a peace deal that compromises its sovereignty or territorial integrity. Zelensky has repeatedly emphasized that any negotiations regarding Ukraine's future must include Ukraine at the table and must respect the principles of international law. Zelensky's unwavering stance reflects the sentiment of a nation that has shown remarkable resilience and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. Ukrainians from the front lines to the streets of Kyiv have demonstrated their unwavering commitment to defending their homeland and their right to self-determination. The human cost of the conflict is immeasurable. Thousands of innocent lives have been lost, countless families torn apart, and millions displaced from their homes. The scars of war run deep, both physically and emotionally. Any discussion of a ceasefire or negotiated settlement must prioritize the safety, security, and well-being of the Ukrainian people. The voices of those most affected by the conflict, particularly those living under Russian occupation in Crimea and parts of the Donbas region, must be heard. Reports from human rights organizations paint a grim picture of life under Russian control, with accounts of arbitrary detentions, torture, and suppression of basic freedoms. A ceasefire that fails to address these fundamental issues, one that merely freezes the conflict in place without addressing the root causes of the aggression, risks perpetuating the suffering of the Ukrainian people and setting a dangerous precedent for future conflicts. The international community must stand firm in its commitment to upholding international law, respecting Ukraine's sovereignty, and holding Russia accountable for its actions.